Hey guys, I want to talk about the new supply in this video because, this could be pretty disturbing to the person that used to be in a romantic involvement with the narcissist because they move on very quickly. Or should I say, they upgrade the person that they were already dealing with behind your back. I'm going to promise you this 99.9% of the time, I want to just say 100% to tell you the truth. They're already dealing with people when they're dealing with you, because that's just the nature of a narcissist. They want supply and they want multiple sources of supply. One person is never going to be enough. Even, the supply could be on all different levels. And at that point, you were the primary supply. Once you get hip to their game, or once they know it's about to be over, it's time to see if they can promote the secondary supplier or the second person that they were dealing with behind your back. Now it's time for them to lay the gravy on thick with them and play the victim and say, oh, she treated me so horrible. And again, I'm talking about a guy, and it could be a woman, so it's interchangeable. They play that victim and they paint you out to be the worst person on the planet to this new person, and they kind of create a scenario where they just need to be rescued. Now I just need the love from you. You're a good person. You're a good woman. You won't treat me like that. I should have been with you, whatever they're telling this new person, or sometimes they take the route of, they'll deny the seriousness of the relationship that they had with you. I was just getting to know her, but she's crazy. But, I've gotten to know you enough. I want to be with you, and they just had a full out relationship with you that, they're going to deny now. But it may bother you because some of you have been with that narcissist for years. And guess what? They might have had that secondary supply for years as well. And that can be crushing to a person because you were actually being with them in a sincere manner. And all along, you were just a tool to get whatever that narcissist needed. If you were a security blanket, oh, she always keeps a good job. She has a nice home. I always have a nice warm place to lay my head with her. You're my primary source because you give me somewhere to live, whatever it might be that you're providing, for that narcissist. Once it's over, they're just simply promoting the secondary source into that primary position, if they have one. But chances are they do. Whether the narcissist considers her as good as a supply as you or not, at that point, they're just desperate to just have that spot filled by someone. And all the more better if it's someone that they've already been priming, already been seeing in the cut. And now, hey, now you get to have all this. You get to be number one. Don't be jealous of that situation and try hard not to, have certain feelings towards this new woman. Because chances are this woman is heavily manipulated right now. Heavily manipulated. The narcissist has her believing one thing. And that's that you're a horrible person that broke their heart and mistreated them and disrespected them, didn't appreciate them, all that stuff. Now, more intelligent people won't always take things in hindsight and won't believe everything that they're being told. But, when you have someone that's treating you so good and treating you so kind and sweeping you off your feet and telling you this and that, all these sweet nothings, why not believe them when they tell you this? You will want to believe them because then that rolls in with the fantasy. And if they're making you feel so good, why would you then mentally want to start thinking and doing things that will go against this happiness that the narcissist is giving that new supply? It's an interesting thing, but don't be jealous of this new person. And if anything, if the narcissist really wants to be with you, he may just try to triangulate the two of you at first to try to teach you a lesson, knowing that he wants to get back with you. But hey, look, somebody else wants me. You better jump on this. I told you I was the ish. You better recognize it. He might play that game with you to get you to get some act right. We're putting that in quotes, or act the way they want you to act, basically. And then they'll go back with you and still keep that person on deck. Still try to keep that other person on deck just in case, you know. And they'll act like, oh no, I'm not with that person no more, and they are. So never let the narcissist triangulate you with another person. Like, if someone doesn't value you enough to not do that type of thing, try to put two people against each other, comparing you in every type of way. Well, she did this for me, you didn't. Or, oh, you know what you won't do, she gonna do it, and flaunt that in your face. You don't need that. You don't have time for those games. That's very immature, very vindictive. You know, you don't need that. But you know, it's rough. It's rough when you know what really happened and that new supply is just being manipulated like crazy. But you know, her day's gonna come too. The only difference is how unhealthy is she? Because we can all admit, you know, there's some things that we had to realize about ourselves in dealing with the narcissist. And it's the same thing that this new supply is going to have to realize as well. How long will it take her to realize it? I don't know. And, you know, for the ones that end up with that person for a long extended time, it's something very unhealthy about that new supply to be able to tolerate the narcissist long term. I mean, I've heard people say that a narcissist could love bomb somebody for years and keep the mask on for years. I don't believe that. Honestly, I just don't believe that. I believe that a person can be blind to the signs that are in front of their face and choose to magnify the quote unquote good things and not acknowledge those signs. Because when I think back to my time with the narcissist, there were clear signs that, you know, the person that I am now, if I were dealing with someone, I'm going to see that right away, and it's going to really throw me off with that person. But I made excuses for it, and because of the quote-unquote good things that was going on between him, or the perceived good things that still wasn't even sincere, I chose to manipulate myself along with him manipulating me to believe and give the benefit of the doubt in certain situations. And I believe that's what the new supply does. I mean, think about it. If you finally feel like you got your knight in shining armor, would you really want to believe something that would just totally destroy that? Especially if the narcissist is denying it, even though there may be little crumbs of evidence that might indicate to you, or little crumbs of things that the narcissist is doing, and sometimes bigger than a crumb of thing that the narcissist is doing to show you who they really are. If you're desperate, if you're in a desperate, needy place where you feel like you just need a relationship, you need love, you can't be by yourself, you're going to be susceptible to being that person that will make excuses for the narcissist. So when you think, oh wow, it's been years and the narcissist is still with that person, why is she still with them when I couldn't even tolerate them for a few months, or we didn't even make it to this month or that month? It's because it's something unhealthy about that person. Trust me. There's no way that that person is going to be able to withstand a narcissist. And then they're living together and all type of stuff like this. In those cases, she's seen glimpses of who this man is. But it's something unhealthy about her that is still making excuses with it, or there's something inside of her that is fighting to get back to that love bomb fakery that, you know, the narcissist was laying on her, you know. Or sometimes people just settle as well. You have to understand that. Sometimes people just settle. That person might very well understand who this narcissist is, but she's like, okay, maybe she rationalized with herself, okay, well, I'll just take this and I'll deal with it. I'll deal with all that other messiness. I'll deal with it, which is extremely unhealthy and dysfunctional, but it happens. So when you see them posting all this stuff, don't fall for the okie doke. Trust me, he putting it on her just like he was putting it on you. Because a zebra don't change its stripe, honey. They don't change. He didn't all of a sudden become this upstanding citizen that values women and that's just respectful when he was the complete opposite with you. That just doesn't happen. And then he's never even acknowledged any wrongs with you, because narcissists, they don't acknowledge faults. He's never really even apologized or anything. Come on now. He did not change. He didn't change. So this person is getting the same thing, but her level of unhealthiness way bigger than yours was at the time. And that's allowing her to tolerate it for that much longer. For that much longer. You know, everybody has their levels. And, you know, it's quite sad when you think about it, like how much this person is getting beat down and how much more of a devastation is going to be for them when they might see the light. And then how even sadder it could be if they never see the light. But, you know, it's not your battle to fight. It really isn't. But I'm just saying all of this to say, don't feel jealous of the new supply. If he's going further with her, or if he jumped into marriage with her, if he's doing all the things that he promised you to her, it's really to get back at you, and or you never know, they're twisted. Could be to get back with you as well, to make you jealous and want to think you're missing out on something and that you were the crazy one and all this other stuff. Yeah, they'll play. I call this, and I try not to curse in my videos, but they're mind fucking you. They're mind fucking you. And then sometimes the new supply will join in with them and try to mind fuck you as well. But, you know, if you're in a healthy stance, you'll just see through the game, you know. Because, trust me, it's something very unhealthy about the new supply if they are tolerating this narcissist long term. Okay? Because a zebra cannot hide their stripes. So don't be jealous. Just know that we got two dysfunctional people operating off of each other. Okay, whatever she feels like she's getting out of the situation and whatever he's getting out of the situation, they're both in agreement to that. And it's going to last. The dysfunction, the fakeness is going to last as long as the two of them allow it to. But that's not your business. You have your life ahead of you. You're out of that toxic situation. Be happy for that. Let him be her problem at this point, you know? Let her be his problem. Vice versa. You're out of there. You know what that person is. Come on, they haven't changed. They haven't changed. They just found a person that was so unhealthy that they will tolerate this nonsense for years. It breaks my heart. Like when I hear people say I was with a narcissist for 20 years, I'm like, wow. Like my relationship was real quick. I dated him for a couple months and I dumped him. He begged to get back with me for 5 months. That was a Hoover. We'll talk about that in another video. And then, you know, I took him back for that second time, which was a total bad idea when he had shown me himself the first time. And then it got worse. But even then, that was over a 3-month span. And then he was out of there. So when I hear people talking about years with the narcissist, I'm like, wow. Like it has to be completely crushing and devastating when that person finally breaks away, how beaten up and how drained that they must feel at that point. So this the new supply that's lasting with him is that much worse. The longer they're with you, the more they're sucking out of you, is that much worse. And also consider this, 2 narcissists can get together. The new supply could be a narc too. They could got with another narc. And then guess what? Upholding that image to the public is going to be that much more important to both of them. And they could be the most dysfunctional, horrible relationship. They will never really show it to the public. That will be behind closed doors. They will get together and find a way to, you know, be this and that to the community, or look like this power couple, or look like they're doing the do and all this other stuff. And behind closed door, honey, if you could be a fly on the wall. But they'll be very much concerned with image at that point. So don't always think it's just this unsuspecting, naive person that doesn't know. Honey. She might be a narcissist, or they might have got with another narc, baby. And that's really sad, actually. It's really sad, but, you know, these are just possibilities. Either way, it's 2 unhealthy people. The longer that person is staying with that narc, either that narc is breaking them down like crazy, like just really snatched all their their self-worth, whatever they had left when a narc met them, their individuality, all of that stuff. Like, it's sad actually, but just know there's dysfunction. The longer they're in that, is more and more dysfunction. So don't feel sad for that. There's no peace. There's no real happiness. There's always some drama. There's always some shit going on. Don't worry about what they're saying and putting out in public. They ain't going to show that. They don't want to look weak. But trust me, the harder they're trying to show that it's perfect, the more indication that it's not. So do not be jealous in these situations, and just let it go. Focus on yourself. That's over with, right? There are billions of people on this earth. Billions. Don't get hung up on no one narc. Okay, they did you wrong. They did this and that. Today is a new day. You can move past that. You can learn from it and be better so that nobody else can come and do that to you again. And that's what we need to be getting at. But don't spend time focusing on that new supply. Don't be trying to keep up with their social medias, because they want you to do that. Trust me on that. They want you to do that. All right. So I'm going to cut this video. It's way longer than I wanted it to be. And I try to keep my videos 8 minutes and under, and this is double. So until next time, you take care. I'll put up some more videos soon.